Okay, gongers, we're gonna definitely do one of my favorite rudiment games. This is built on sort of like a four-stroke ruff, as the name indicates. It's a four-stroke, basically a four-stroke roll, and then contrasting that with a five-stroke roll, which possibly could be called a five-stroke ruff, maybe. And if I were a YouTube editing type, you know, I'd have like a funny whatever thing pop up on the screen, but I'm not doing that. So the four-stroke roll, this four-stroke ruff is just right, left, right, left. And the idea is to just compress that sticking down into as small amount of time as you possibly can. So if you're new to this, do not be afraid to just get comfortable playing four strokes fairly evenly, and with the thinking of them as all one grouping. Don't think about it as like four separate things. Really do try to just get to feel it as like one tiny little unit. You know, it's like thinking in like millimeters. If you can get yourself fairly quick, then you can start to just group the four together, and basically where normally you might have, if you were playing a much more slow, if you plan to play slow beats on the gong at a very, very, very moderate tempo, you might play but if each one of those beats contained four notes, a la the four-stroke ruff, then, you know, it's really not that challenging to get all four of those to have the four strokes. So that's the idea of how the four-stroke ruff kind of is working, is that it's where we were normally having a single beat, we're easily fitting in this sort of rapid-fire succession. So it's really almost more about the stopping of it, in my mind, than like the trying to be fast. It's more about understanding, of course it's fast, and then sort of just getting off and, you know, being ready to like cease at the four, and then you're able to kind of keep doing more and more and more. So then contrasting that with adding just one more note, con acento, a fifth note onto that four. So we have right, left for four. And now the trick is here, yeah, I guess you maybe would call this a five-stroke ruff, because we're not trying to let it feel like, a roll. We are trying to once again create a sense of these five notes being compacted in fact, being compacted into the same space we had the four before. So if we were a little loose with our four, we're gonna have to speed it up just a little bit. We're gonna have to strive to compress that in order to use that same amount of time to perform all five of the five. So if we have four as, then we're looking at five being, so you can see that little accent allows you to punctuate and understand we are rushing this extra little beat in. More skillful percussionists could certainly do that with both hands. I probably can't. And they could probably also, if they wanted to, not have the accent. But for me, it is very hard to not have the accent. And that does allow, that might be the technical difference between perhaps, if there is such a thing as a five-stroke ruff, that is like what makes it that is because we are punctuating the end of that. So anyways, also because a five-stroke roll often could be the double-handed roll of right, left, right, left. Anyways, four-stroke ruff, five-stroke ruff, and then practice going back and forth between them. I like to do sets of 4, so from four strokes, and then 4 5 strokes would be something like. So practicing going back and forth between the four-stroke ruff and what might be called a five-stroke ruff, what is allegedly a five-stroke ruff, is another good thing you can practice when you're playing on a gong. Keep bonging on.